The island is quiet now. The wind blows across the rocky coast of St. Helena. It is a lonely place in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, far from the crowds of Paris, far from the battlefields of Europe. Here, a man died in 1821. His name was Napoleon Bonaparte. He was once the master of Europe. He commanded armies of hundreds of thousands. He crowned himself emperor. He changed the laws of nations. But in the end, he was just a man. His body was buried in the earth. His empire fell apart. His family scattered. History books wrote down his story. They told of his genius. They told of his wars. They told of his fall. For 200 years, people believed they knew where he came from. They believed he was a son of Corsica. They believed he was a son of France. They believed his bloodline was clear. It was a story of European power. It was a story of Western ambition. That was the story everyone knew. That was the textbook version. Then a lab in France tested a specific thing. They tested a lock of his hair. The year was 2011. A geneticist named Gerard Lucotte worked in a laboratory in Paris. He had a sample. It was not bone. It was not teeth. It was hair. The hair had been kept for nearly 200 years. It was cut from Napoleon's head after he died. It was stored in a locket. It passed through many hands. Finally, it reached the lab. The technicians wore gloves. They worked in a clean room. They did not want modern skin cells to touch the sample. They wanted only Napoleon's DNA. They extracted the genetic code. They looked at the Y chromosome. This is the part of DNA that fathers pass to sons. It does not change much over time. It acts like a surname written in code. They ran the test. The machine printed the results. The room was silent. The data showed a specific haplogroup. It was labeled E1, B1, B1, C1. This was a shock. This genetic marker is rare in Western Europe. It is rare in France. It is rare in the places where Napoleon fought his wars. It is common in North Africa. It is common in the Middle East. It is common in the Mediterranean islands. That was the first crack. But when they tested more samples from Corsican populations, the pattern got stranger. The myth was simple. Napoleon was a European emperor. He was the symbol of the West. People imagine his ancestry matches the maps of his empire. They imagine his genes look like the people of Paris or Berlin. But the DNA did not match that map. The haplogroup ABEB is ancient. It is thousands of years old. It did not start in France. It started much further south. To understand this, we must look at the history of people. We must look at how humans moved. 10,000 years ago, the ice sheets were melting. Farmers began to plant seeds. They did not stay in one place. They walked. They followed the coast. They moved from the Middle East into Europe. They brought farming with them. They brought their DNA with them. This genetic marker traveled with them. It went into Greece. It went into Italy. It went into the islands of the sea. Corsica is one of those islands. It sits between Italy and France. It is rocky and hard. For a long time, ships stopped there. Traders stopped there. Soldiers stopped there. They left pieces of themselves behind. The DNA stayed in the population. It hid in the bloodlines. It waited for science to find it. When researchers looked further, they found more. They looked at other men from Corsica. They looked at men from southern Italy. They looked at men from Greece. The pattern was clear. The genetic signature of Napoleon was not unique. It was part of a larger wave. This wave happened before history was written. It happened before Rome was built. It happened before the French language existed. The science explains the movement inside the story. DNA is not magic. It is a record. It records who your father's father was. It records where he came from. In Napoleon's case, It records a journey. It records a journey from the south to the north. But that was not the only surprise. The researchers compared his DNA to modern databases. They looked for matches. They found connections to populations in the Levant. They found connections to populations in North Africa. This complicates the image of the French emperor. He is often painted as a white European leader. His statues stand in European squares. His name is on European streets. But his genetic code tells a different story. It tells a story of the Mediterranean Sea. The sea connects people. It does not divide them. The blood of Africa and the blood of Europe mixed long before Napoleon was born. It mixed in the fields of Corsica. It mixed in the ports of Genoa. It mixed in the cities of Rome. And when researchers looked further, they found something else. They looked at the frequency of this haplogroup. In France, it is less than 5%. In Corsica, it is higher. In parts of Greece, it is very high. In parts of North Africa, it is dominant. This suggests a migration path. It suggests his ancestors came from the east or the south. They arrived in Corsica centuries ago. They became Corsicans. They became French. But the genetic mark remained. It survived the centuries. It survived the wars. It survived the rise and fall of empires. But that was just the first site. The next one was worse. The next step was to look at other royal remains. Scientists have tested many historical figures. They have tested the Romanovs of Russia. They have tested the Habsburgs of Austria. They have tested the pharaohs of Egypt. Each test reveals a secret. Each test breaks a myth. For the Habsburgs, the DNA confirmed inbreeding. Their jaws were famous. Their chins were large. The DNA showed why. Their genetic diversity was low. They married cousins to keep power. They paid a price in health. For the Romanovs, the DNA confirmed identity. The family was killed in a basement. Their bodies were hidden. DNA found them again. It matched living relatives. It proved the story was true. But Napoleon's case is different. He has no living direct male line. His son died young. His nephew died without issue. The hair is the only key. And keys can be lost. The evidence seems overwhelming, but there is one problem nobody expected. The hair sample itself is controversial. Not all scientists agree it is his. There are many locks of hair claimed to be Napoleon's. Some are in museums. Some are in private hands. The one tested in 2011 came from a private collector. It had a history. It was cut by a doctor on the island. But chains of custody are hard to prove after 200 years. Contamination is possible. Modern DNA can mix with old DNA. If a person touched the hair without gloves, the test is wrong. If the hair was stored in a paper envelope, it might have absorbed dust. The dust could have DNA from other people. This is the twist. The science is real. The method is real. But the sample might be flawed. This is the counterargument. This is the nuance. A haplogroup does not equal a nationality. Even if the hair is his, and even if the test is right, what does it mean? It means his ancestors moved. It does not mean he was not French. Culture is not DNA. Language is not DNA. Loyalty is not DNA. Napoleon spoke French. He thought like a European leader. He shaped Western law. His genetics could be from anywhere, but his actions were here. This contradiction changes everything. And 3 dig sites across 2 continents prove exactly how. The first site is in Egypt. Napoleon invaded Egypt in 1798. He brought scientists with him. He wanted to study the land. He wanted to study the people. Ironically, he shared DNA with the people he conquered. The haplogroup E is common in Egypt. It is common in the Nile Valley. It is common among the pharaohs. Recent tests on royal mummies show high rates of this lineage. Tutankhamun's family carried it. Ramses the Great carried it. If Napoleon's hair is correct, He shares a deep ancient link with the pharaohs. He stood in the shadow of the pyramids. He looked at the Sphinx. He did not know he was looking at his own genetic past. The circle closes. The conqueror and the conquered are linked by blood. This was not known in his time. In the 1800s, people did not know about genes. They did not know about chromosomes. They thought blood was about nobility. They thought blue blood was real. Now we know blood is just chemistry. It is just history, written in molecules. The invasion of Egypt was short. The French left, but the genetic connection remains. It is older than the empire. It is older than the nation. The second site is in Corsica, the island of Ajaccio. This is where Napoleon was born. The house still stands. Tourists walk through the rooms. They touch the walls. They look at the bed. But the people outside the house are the real story. Geneticists have sampled men in the villages. They sampled men with the same last names. They sampled men whose families have been there for generations. The results show a mix. There is Italian DNA. There is French DNA. There is North African DNA. There is Middle Eastern DNA. Corsica is a crossroads. Ships have stopped there for 5,000 years. Phoenicians stopped there. Greeks stopped there. Romans stopped there. Genoese stopped there. Each group left a mark. Some left stone towers. Some left words. Some left children. Napoleon's family was Italian in name. Bonaparte is an Italian name. They came from Tuscany. They moved to Corsica. They became part of the island. The DNA reflects this movement. It reflects the chaos of the Mediterranean. It is not pure. It is not simple. It is a mixture. Just like the history of the region, that was Corsica. But the third site told an even stranger story. The third site is in Vienna, the city of his enemies. The Habsburg Empire fought him for years. They lost daughters to him. They lost battles to him, but they survived. Their DNA tells a story of survival. They kept detailed records. They knew who married who. They knew who died young. The DNA confirms the records. It shows the cost of power. Napoleon's DNA shows the cost of movement. It shows the cost of migration. One tells of isolation. One tells of connection. Both are true. Both are history. But there is more. We must look at the technology. How do we know this? The technology has changed. In 2011, the test was new today. It is better. We can sequence whole genomes. We can look at tiny fragments. We can tell if DNA is degraded. We can tell if it is contaminated. New studies are happening now. They are testing more hair. They are testing more bones. They are testing more teeth. The picture is getting clearer, but the question remains. Why does it matter? Why do we care about the genes of a dead emperor? We care because it changes the story. It changes how we see ourselves. If Napoleon is not purely European, then Europe is not purely European. Everything is mixed. Everything is connected. The borders on the map are lines. The blood does not see the lines. The DNA flows across the borders. It ignores the walls. It ignores the flags. This is the deeper dig. It is not just about Napoleon. It is about us. Every person has a story like this. Every person has ancestors who moved. Every person has ancestors who mixed. The further back you go, the more mixed it becomes. Go back 1,000 years. Everyone is a migrant. Go back 10,000 years. Everyone is African. This is the science. This is the fact. But history is not just science. History is memory. History is identity. Napoleon remembered himself as French. He remembered himself as a leader of the West. His DNA does not change his memory. It does not change his impact. He built schools, he built roads, he wrote laws. These things remain. The DNA is just a footnote. But it is an interesting footnote. It reminds us that We are all travelers. We are all guests on this earth. That was what the DNA proved. But there is one thing nobody can explain yet. The hair sample tested in 2011 was not the only one. There is another lock. It is held in a different collection. It has not been tested with modern methods. It might give a different result. It might show a different haplogroup. It might show he was typical French. Until that test is done, the mystery remains. Science is not static. It changes. New evidence arrives. Old ideas fall. This is how knowledge works. It is not a statue. It is a process. We test, we learn, we correct, we learn again. Napoleon would understand this. He was a man of the Enlightenment. He believed in reason. He believed in progress. He would want the truth, even if the truth was strange, even if the truth was complicated. He did not fear facts. He used facts to build his power. Now, facts are used to understand his life. The circle is complete. Every site pointed the same direction. The full picture is more disturbing than any single finding. It shows that identity is fragile. It shows that nations are new. France as a nation is young. Europe as a concept is young. But the people are old. The bloodlines are old. They stretch back to the dawn of man. They stretch back to the first steps out of Africa. Napoleon is just one point on the line. He is one moment in time. He is bright. He is loud, but he is brief. His empire lasted 12 years. His DNA lasts forever. It is in the earth. It is in the air. It is in the history books. But what does it mean for us today? We live in a time of division. People argue about borders. They argue about where people come from. They argue about who belongs. The DNA of Napoleon offers an answer. Nobody belongs to one place. We all belong to the journey. We are all the result of migration. We are all the result of mixing. The pure bloodline is a myth. It never existed. It only exists in stories. In reality, everything is mixed. The French emperor had African genes. The Egyptian pharaoh had European genes. The world is small. It has always been small. This synthesis is the new understanding. It is not just about history. It is about biology. It is about humanity. We are one species. We are one family. The differences are surface level. They are skin deep. They are cultural. They are not fundamental. The fundamental code is the same. The A, C, T, G sequences are the same. The variations are small. They are like accents in a language. They are not different languages. Napoleon spoke with an accent. He spoke French with a Corsican accent. People mocked him for it. They said he was not quite French. They said he was an outsider. The DNA confirms he was an outsider, but it also confirms he was an insider. He was human. He was part of the whole. This is the tweetable insight. The blood of the emperor is the blood of the people. It is the blood of the world. That is what the DNA proved. But there is one thing nobody can explain yet. Why did this specific lineage survive? Why did this specific family rise to power? Genetics does not explain ambition. It does not explain genius. It does not explain luck. Napoleon could have died in childhood. He could have lost the Battle of Waterloo. He could have been killed in Italy. He survived. He rose. Why? The DNA does not say. The chromosomes do not hold the secret of destiny. They only hold the secret of origin. The rest is up to us. The rest is up to chance. The rest is up to history. This is the limit of science. It can tell us where we came from. It cannot tell us where we are going. It cannot tell us why we matter. That is a question for philosophy. That is a question for art. That is a question for life. So where does this leave us? It leaves us with a mystery. It leaves us with a choice. We can cling to the old myths. We can believe in pure nations. We can believe in simple stories, or we can accept the complex truth. We can accept that we are all mixed. We can accept that we are all connected. Napoleon's hair sits in a box. It is dry and brittle. It holds the code of a continent. It holds the code of a species. It waits for the next test. It waits for the next question. Science will keep looking. History will keep writing. The story is not over. It is just beginning. If you want to know more about how DNA is rewriting history, subscribe to the channel. We test the myths. We find the truth. We look at the evidence. There are more stories like this. There are more secrets in the ground. There are more codes in the blood. We will find them. We will share them. But for now, think about the question. What defines you? Is it your blood or is it your deed? Is it where you come from or is it what you do? Napoleon chose the deed. He chose the action. He chose the legacy. The DNA is just a footnote. The history is the book. Read the book, but do not forget the footnote. It might change how you read the page. The wind still blows on St. Helena. The grass still grows on the grave. The tourists still come. They take pictures. They buy souvenirs. They go home. They tell their friends. They say they saw the place where Napoleon died. But they do not know what else is there. They do not know the secret in the hair. They do not know the code in the bone. They see the man. They do not see the history. The history is invisible. It is in the air. It is in the ground. It is in us. We carry it with us. We walk with the ghosts. We live with the past. It is not dead. It is not gone. It is here. It is now. It is waiting. The lab in Paris is quiet. Now the machines are off. The lights are low. The report is filed. The result is published. But the debate continues. Scholars argue. Historians argue, geneticists argue, is it true? Is it false? Does it matter? The argument is good. It means people care. It means history is alive. If nobody cared, there would be no argument. There would be silence. The silence would be worse. So let them argue. Let them test. Let them dig. The truth will come out. It always does. It might take years. It might take decades. But it will come. And when it does, we will be ready. We will have the tools. We will have the knowledge. We will have the questions. The story of Napoleon is the story of us. It is a story of rise and fall. It is a story of power and loss. It is a story of blood and soil. But the blood is not what we think. The soil is not what we think. The boundaries are illusions. The maps are lies. The reality is fluid. It moves. It changes. It mixes. Napoleon was the master of the map. He drew new lines. He moved the borders. He changed the names. But he could not change the blood. The blood was already there. It was already mixed. It was already old. He was just the latest chapter. He was not the whole book. Remember this when you look at history. Remember this when you look at yourself. You are not just one thing. You are many things. You are many places. You are many times. You are the sum of every journey your ancestors took. You are the sum of every mistake they made. You are the sum of every survival. You are here. That is the miracle. The rest is detail. The DNA is detail. The life is the miracle. Napoleon lived, he fought, he lost, he died, but he was here. And because he was here, we know about the hair. We know about the gene. We know about the link. We know about the past. And because we know, we can learn. And because we can learn, we can grow. That is the real legacy, not the empire, not the war, the knowledge. The sun sets on the Atlantic. The waves hit the rocks. The sound is rhythmic. It is like a heartbeat. It is like time passing, tick-tock. Tick-tock, the years go by. The centuries go by. The empires fall. The genes remain. They wait in the dark. They wait in the cold. They wait for the light of science, the light of truth, the light of understanding. It is a slow light. It is a hard light, but it is the only light we have. Follow the light. Follow the evidence. Follow the story. It will take you places you did not expect. It will take you to Corsica. It will take you to Egypt. It will take you to the lab. It will take you to the hair. It will take you to the code. And when you read the code, you will see yourself. You will see your neighbor. You will see your enemy. You will see the family, the human family. That is the end of the story, but it is not the end of the question. The question remains, what will you do with the knowledge? Will you use it to divide, or will you use it to unite? Napoleon used his power to conquer. He used his power to rule. He used his power to change the map. You have power too. You have the power of knowledge. You have the power of truth. You have the power of history. Use it wisely. Use it well. The world is watching. The future is waiting. The past is speaking. Listen to the past. Learn from the past, but do not live in the past. Live in the present. Build the future. Make your own mark. Not in blood, in action, in deed, in life. The screen goes dark. The sound fades. The silence returns, but the thought remains. The thought of the emperor, the thought of the hair, the thought of the gene, the thought of the man. He is gone, but the story is here, and the story is yours. Take it, keep it, share it, tell someone. Tell them about the DNA. Tell them about the myth. Tell them about the truth. Let the story spread. Let the knowledge grow. Let the history live. This is why we do this. This is why we speak. This is why we remember. For the dead, for the living, for the future, for the truth. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for learning. The journey continues. The next video is waiting. The next mystery is calling. Join us there. Subscribe now. Hit the bell. Do not miss the next discovery. The next discovery, the next truth, it is coming. It is close. It is near. Wait for it. Watch for it. Look for it. The truth is out there, and we will find it together. The wind blows. The waves crash. The story ends. The question begins. What is your ancestry? What is your story? What is your code? Find out. Look deep, dig hard, ask questions. Do not accept the myth. Seek the crack, find the evidence, build the truth, twist the idea, dig deeper, reframe the world, ask the question. That is the way. That is the path. That is the history. Ancient history, modern science, human story. One story, one people, one blood, one earth. One time. Now, the lab report is closed. The box is sealed. The hair is safe. The data is saved. The work is done for now. Until the next test. Until the next sample. Until the next question. Science never sleeps. History never ends. It just waits. It waits for you. It waits for us. It waits for the next generation. They will look back. They will look at us. They will wonder, did we know? Did we see? Did we understand? Did we tell the truth? I hope we did. I hope we do. I hope you do. Tell the truth. Share the knowledge. Break the myth. Find the face. Complicate the twist. Dig the deep. Reframe the view. Ask the question. This is the script. This is the life. This is the history. Napoleon Bonaparte, the man, the myth, the DNA, the truth. It is all here. It is all now. It is all real. Believe it. Share it. Live it. The end, or is it? The story continues in you, in your blood, in your life. Go write it. Go live it. Go find it. The history is yours. The DNA is yours. The truth is yours. Take it.